Well, in terms of setting an example, you probably presume the club don't want Declan Rice to be looking at Marko Arnautovic and what's been happening off the field.
Which is the problem that you have with a big-name mercurial player that in a dress... Look, let's not beat around the bush here. Marko Arnautovic is eminently talented.
Yeah.
He's got as much talent as 99, percent of the very best players in the world.
Yeah. He's that good, you feel?
He's talent.
Yes.
Well, he's God-given gifts. But there's a reason why it was Stoke City that took the gamble on him, and not Liverpool, and not Manchester City, and not Bayern Munich, and not Paris Saint-Germain, not Real Madrid and Barcelona, is because people weren't sure about his personality. So he does well for Stoke, and then he comes to West Ham, he would be earning big money, and he'd have had the manager pat him on the back and say, have a walk around here, you're going to be the top man. And what happens with that is if then you feed that potential monster, then sooner or later, his brother's the agent, could be saying, you should be on 150, 160, 180, £200,000 a week. And this is what we're starting to see manifest itself. Declan Rice will be away from that situation, trust me, and the club will be managing it. But that's what you get when you get players like Shaqiri, when you get players like Nasri, Arnautovic, Dimitri Payet.
All of
they
them
come with a price.
Yeah, they do. But sometimes it has to be managed in the right way. It's hard to take as a ex-West Ham player, because I love the club and they're fantastic. But then when you need players like that to spring on to the next step. But it's hard. What Stan's talking about, it is hard to take, because them players have not egos. They have different mentality. How they do
ego
things.
to be able to score the 35 yards, which gets people off their seats.
It's different like that. But I just hope they deal with the situation. Obviously, you're pointing out Arnautovic, but I think West Ham have problems anyway, because they're gonna in January you want to improve your squad. But I think West Ham got a problem of keeping their squad, because they've got some really good players that they want to keep hold of and want to go on to the next level.
What did you make of Arnautovic applauding the fans as he came off and waving to the fans?
It was. Stage managed. We're Premier League is rock and roll. If he didn't know himself, or a brother, an agent, whatever it is, wouldn't have known the value. Yeah. Right. Number comes up. Give the normal clap. Add a little wave, and that every single website,
talking about
social media is good. Happy days. Because when David Sullivan, David Gold, the board of directors watch it, is he going to go? He said yesterday he's committed, but does that mean he wants to go? Let's convene an urgent board meeting and let's add those extra few grand on the table.
It's hard to take, but that's the nature of the beast. That's what we're in, the game we're in now, and that's what they try to do to try and get to the next level for the individual.
Did you gents ever get involved in this sort of, I guess you could
never,
call it
it's
play
generations.
acting,
I've never, until we talked about it before the game, I've never really thought about it. I never let it go on. But obviously it does. Like that situation to try and make things happen quicker than what it used to. I never had that.
We had this conversation. We both grew up in English football, whether it be as an apprentice. So we never thought in our career, we thought, well, maybe towards the end of career you might go and play in Italy. But there weren't many opportunities. Maybe Italy, maybe Spain, because there wasn't the trickle of players going left, right and centre, pan-Europe, pan-continental. Now, why do we automatically think that Marko Arnautovic, or anybody that plays for my club, Aston Villa, or the club that we both played for, Nottingham Forest, that's come from Latin America, that's come from Asia, would be as loyal as we were?
Yes.
And some people say, well, we weren't particularly loyal, but in terms of as having English clubs mean as much to them as to us. Yeah. If somebody's going to come along in China and say we're going to give you an extra £2 or £3 million a month, then you're going to start to play the game, the media game, the speculation game.
It's hard to talk about, because he's right, obviously being truthful, but because sometimes people don't want to actually say what that situation is. Yeah. But that actually does happen. So it's quite a hard situation to take.
And of course, they've had fairly recent experience with the Dimitri Payet situation. Yeah, definitely. Of that to a greater or lesser degree.
So it's hard, really, but that's what you get when you're getting them players in to go to the next level. That's how you have to deal with that and manage it. And hopefully West Ham can deal with it in the right way.
Well, let's not forget Oscar. He blatantly came out and said, yeah, I'm just doing this for the money, because it's a short-term career.
I understand it, but I'm from a generation whereby we had sticker books and you knew players' career paths, and you were invested in the sport.
Yeah.
Was it Benoit Suakoto at Spurs
Benoit Suakoto,
that famously you're a Spurs fan?
Yeah.
He famously said, "Look, I play for the money. I don't play for the sport." And we would look at that and say, "Well, that's odd," but there are so many options for youngsters now that football's just another option.
Yeah.
It's not the love affair that many players like me that say, "Oh, it was great in the good old days," but the connection is different.